Welcome to Zoe Stories. I took her makeup. Now she won't let me go back. The small bell above my sister's bedroom door jingled lightly as I stood frozen on the threshold, hesitating. I wasn't supposed to be in here. Her room had always been off-limits, a pristine shrine to everything she loved, everything she cherished, and everything that felt entirely separate from my world. But something about the late afternoon sunlight spilling across the vanity table drew me in. The light hit the array of makeup products like liquid gold, highlighting each lipstick, each brush, each palette of color as though they were treasures waiting to be discovered. I had always been a careful observer. I knew she spent hours in this room, hours perfecting the art I never understood. But today, curiosity gnawed at me with an intensity one couldn't ignore. It wasn't just curiosity. It was the kind of curiosity that starts in the stomach and spreads outward, curling in your chest, whispering daring ideas that your brain immediately rejects but your body secretly craves. It had started innocently enough. A few hours ago, we had been playing video games, one of those late-night competitions where the stakes seemed meaningless, but somehow everything felt urgent. I had lost, predictably, and she had leaned over with a smirk, her dark eyes gleaming with that dangerous combination of mischief and authority. "Fine," she had said softly, almost lazily, as if the words themselves were a kind of punishment. "If you really want to see the world differently, try this." At the time, I thought she was joking. I thought it was just her way of teasing me, of rubbing in her victory. I should have walked away, laughed it off, gone back to my side of the room, and forgotten it. But I didn't. Something in me, a tiny, rebellious, desperate spark, made me follow her words literally. Now, standing here, my hand hovered over the first item, a small, unassuming container of foundation. I picked it up, turning it in my hand, noting the creamy texture, the delicate scent. It was strange and alien, and yet inviting. I dabbed a tiny bit onto my fingertips and hesitated, staring at my reflection. My heart raced. "What are you doing?" a small voice inside me asked. "Stop. This is stupid." But the answer came back from somewhere deeper. "You want to?" I spread the foundation across my cheeks and forehead, and with each brushstroke, a strange sensation washed over me, like walking across a thin bridge of heat and fear. I had never been self-conscious about my face before. I had never cared much. But now, looking at my reflection, I realized I had been seeing the wrong version of myself all along. The boy staring back felt foreign, softened, vulnerable, alive in a way I hadn't expected. Then came the blush, a bright, rosy sweep across my cheeks, blending in slowly, transforming the planes of my face. I felt my pulse quicken. I felt exposed. And yet, there was something intoxicating in that exposure, something dangerously thrilling. I moved on to the eyebrows, shaping them with careful strokes. My hands trembled slightly as I tried to mimic the precise, almost surgical motions my sister had perfected over years of practice. My reflection began to change, subtly at first, and then more dramatically. There was a softness emerging, a refinement, a vulnerability that was entirely new. I looked like a version of myself I had never known, someone delicate, someone beautiful in a fragile, heart-stopping way. A laugh escaped my lips, shaky, nervous, tinged with something I couldn't name. "Just a little," I muttered to myself. "No big deal. Just trying it." But my denial felt hollow, even to me. Every stroke of the brush, every swipe of color, made me more aware of this hidden part of myself that I had never admitted even in thought. And then she appeared. I hadn't heard her come in. I didn't hear the soft click of her heels, didn't hear the subtle rustle of her clothes. But when I turned, there she was, leaning casually against the doorframe, her dark eyes sharp and amused, her hair falling in sleek, perfect waves over one shoulder. She studied me for a long moment, and I felt a flush creep up my neck. "I see you've discovered my little treasure," she said, her voice a perfect balance of teasing and command. "You're actually good at this." I froze. I was just curious," I stammered, feeling my voice betray me with its quiver. "Curious? she echoed, stepping closer, her presence filling the room with a quiet, magnetic power. Oh, sweetie, this isn't just curiosity anymore. You like it. Don't lie to me. My chest tightened. I wanted to deny it, to retreat, to pull back into the familiar safety of my normal self. But her gaze held me hostage. There was a mixture of sweetness and authority in her eyes that made my knees weak, made my stomach knot in a confusing swirl of fear, excitement, and longing. I wanted to tell her no. I wanted to escape. I wanted to reclaim my old identity, to erase the blush, the foundation, the subtle transformation that was already weaving itself into the fabric of who I was. But deep down, a tiny, unspoken part of me wanted her to see more, wanted her to take control, wanted her to lead me further down this unfamiliar path. Let's see what else you can do, she murmured, almost a challenge. Her fingers hovered near a tube of lipstick, bright, bold, commanding. My heart pounded, a mix of anticipation and terror. That red lipstick seemed like a test, a point of no return. I felt the weight of choice press down on me. Could I stop? Could I turn back to the boy I had been? Or had that boy already been left behind somewhere in the hazy reflection of the mirror? The air seemed to thicken around me, heavy with the scent of her perfume, the warmth of the room, the unspoken rules she had already established without a single command. I felt small. I felt exposed. I felt alive. She stepped closer, her fingers brushing lightly against the tube of lipstick as she smiled, a smile that was both kind and terrifyingly powerful. You know, she said softly, her voice almost a whisper. Once you wear this, there's no going back. The words echoed in my mind like a drumbeat, a warning and a promise all at once. And in that instant, I realized the truth. My life was about to change, whether I wanted it to or not. The boy I had been was slipping further away, and something new, fragile, beautiful, and terrifying, was taking his place. I swallowed hard. My pulse raced. My reflection in the mirror no longer looked like me. And for the first time, I wasn't sure if I wanted it to. The doorbell jingled faintly in the distance, but I barely heard it. Outside, the world continued, unaware of the transformation beginning within these four walls. Inside, I was stepping onto a bridge I didn't know how to cross, and the only hand reaching out to guide me belonged to her. The tube of lipstick felt impossibly heavy in her hand, like a tiny scepter wielding power over me. I wanted to step back, to shake my head and run, but my body betrayed me. I remained frozen, my pulse hammering in my ears, my palms slick with sweat. You're trembling, she observed, her voice soft, almost mockingly tender. Is it fear or excitement? I swallowed, trying to answer, but no words came. How could I explain what I didn't even fully understand myself? The boy I had been, the careful, shy, almost invisible version of me, was dissolving with every brushstroke I had already dared. Lift your chin, she instructed, her tone slipping effortlessly between sweetness and command. Her eyes locked onto mine, and I obeyed. My lips parted instinctively as she applied the first swipe of scarlet color. The sensation was electric. The smooth, creamy lipstick glided over my lips and left a warmth that seemed to spread across my whole body. I felt naked, vulnerable, and something deeper stirred, something I had never felt, a strange thrill that made my breath catch. There, she said softly, stepping back to appraise her work. Perfect. Already prettier than I imagined. I wanted to argue, to deny it, but when I glanced at the mirror, I couldn't. The reflection was intoxicating. My features softened, my eyes appeared larger, more expressive, my lips full and delicate. And for the first time, I wanted to see more. She didn't let me linger in my reflection for long. Now, the dress, she said, gesturing toward her wardrobe. A blush-colored, silky garment hung prominently in the center, a piece I had never imagined wearing, never imagined myself wearing. My stomach twisted at the sight of it. You'll wear this, she continued, her voice unwavering, and you'll wear it with confidence. If you falter, I'll know. I hesitated. I can't, my words stumbled, weak and desperate. "Can't or won't?" she asked, tilting her head. Her eyes pierced through me. "Because right now you have a choice. But once you put it on, that choice will start to vanish." My hands shook as I touched the soft fabric, feeling the silk slip between my fingers like water. It was delicate, fragile, and impossibly feminine. I wanted to pull away, wanted to refuse, but something inside me, a hidden, secret part, yearned to be adorned, to be seen like this. "You're beautiful," she whispered, almost to herself. "And you're going to own it." The process was slow, deliberate, and humiliating. Each layer of clothing, each small adjustment, made me hyper-aware of my body in a way I never had before. She helped me with the straps of the dress, tightening them just enough to highlight curves I didn't know I had. She brushed my hair back, braided it lightly, and guided me to the mirror. "You see," she said softly, "this is who you can be, not the boy you were. That version of you is gone." Her words sank deep into me, and I felt a shiver of fear and excitement. The boy I had been was slipping further away, and though I fought against it, part of me wanted to surrender. Next came the shoes, delicate, strappy heels that clicked sharply against the hardwood floor as I forced myself to walk. My steps were unsteady at first, every wobble sending a jolt of embarrassment through me. But she was patient and strict. "Straighten your back. Lift your chin. Walk like you own it." Her tone left no room for argument, and I obeyed, stumbling at first, then slowly finding a rhythm. The sound of my heels echoed in the room, a metronome marking the transformation. And then came the makeup refinement, eyeliner, mascara, blush, and the subtle contouring that made my face almost unrecognizable. I watched in silent horror and awe as my reflection became something entirely new. My eyes seemed larger, more expressive, almost seductive in a way that made my heart race. "Look at yourself," she said, standing behind me, her hands resting lightly on my shoulders. "This is who you are now, and you're going to enjoy it, even if you hate yourself for it at first." Her words cut through me like a knife wrapped in velvet. I hated the thought of enjoying this, and yet, I did. A small, almost guilty part of me, hidden deep in my chest, thrilled at the compliment, at the validation, at the recognition of my beauty. She leaned closer, her lips brushing my ear. "You know, you can't go back now. Not fully. Once the world sees you like this, you'll be ours. Mine." The words sent a shiver down my spine. Mine? Her control was total, intoxicating. And I felt it, a dangerous pull I could neither resist nor fully understand. We spent hours that evening perfecting the look. Each brushstroke, each adjustment of clothing, each careful step in heels was a small surrender. And yet, with each surrender, I felt a strange exhilaration. Part of me was terrified, part of me was ashamed, but part of me craved it desperately. By the time the sun dipped below the horizon, casting the room in a warm amber glow, I barely recognized the person staring back at me in the mirror. The boy I had been, the shy, cautious, invisible boy, was gone. In his place was someone delicate, beautiful, and exposed in ways I had never imagined. And yet, even in that reflection, even in that moment of absolute transformation, a single thought lingered in the back of my mind. This isn't over. Not yet. She isn't done with me. The morning sunlight streamed through the curtains, painting the room in soft gold. My heart thumped like a drum in my chest as I stared at myself in the full-length mirror. The dress from yesterday hung perfectly on my frame, delicate and feminine. The heels clicked sharply on the wooden floor, each step a jolt of vulnerability. My hands trembled as I smoothed the skirt, trying to ignore the knot of anxiety tightening in my stomach. "Are you ready?" she asked from the doorway, her eyes scanning me with a mixture of satisfaction and amusement. Her hair shimmered in the morning light, and the faint curve of her smile made me shiver. I think so," I muttered, my voice higher than usual. My lips still bore the faint red stain of yesterday's lipstick. "Think so," she echoed, stepping closer. "You are ready. Stop doubting yourself." She tilted my chin upward with a practiced hand. The world is about to see the new you. And, trust me, they're going to love it. Or at least you'll love it. Her words were both a comfort and a torment. I wanted to believe her, but the fear of stepping outside as someone so unrecognizable pressed down on me. The boy I had been, the timid, invisible one, was already a shadow in my mind. But could I really show this new self to the world? The journey to the mall was a blur. Every sound, the hum of the car engine, the passing cars, the casual chatter of pedestrians, felt magnified. My hands clutched the edge of the seat, heels digging into the floor. She reached over and brushed my fingers gently. "Relax," she whispered. "You'll survive. You'll thrive." When we arrived, the sunlight hit the busy plaza with harsh clarity. People were everywhere, shoppers, couples, families, and teenagers, all moving in their own worlds, oblivious to the silent drama unfolding in the car. My stomach twisted. I could feel their eyes on me even before I stepped out, or maybe it was just my imagination. She stepped out first, confident and elegant, her heels echoing against the pavement. Then it was my turn. I stepped carefully, the skirt swishing around my knees. My reflection in the car window made me flinch. I barely recognized myself. My cheeks flushed, my pulse raced, and I felt exposed in a way that made me dizzy. "Good," she said, her voice a soft caress. "You look amazing. Now walk." The world outside felt different, larger, harsher, and infinitely more dangerous. My heels clicked on the tile, attracting glances. I felt them, the curious stares, the silent judgments. A group of girls whispered and giggled as we passed. My face burned, my body frozen in mortified awareness. "You're doing fine," she said, squeezing my hand. "They don't matter. Only me. Only this moment. Own it." But owning it was harder than I imagined. Every step reminded me of the fragility of my new identity. The skirt felt too short, the heels too high, my voice too soft when I spoke. Yet, within this terror, there was a thrill, a dangerous, addictive spark that made my heartbeat quicken. We entered a small cafe, and the barista's gaze lingered on me a fraction too long. I felt myself shrinking, wishing desperately for invisibility. But she guided me to a table, her hand firm on my lower back, her presence a shield and a cage all at once. "You're beautiful," she whispered, leaning close. "Not just the makeup, not just the dress you. You are beautiful, and you're learning it." Her words struck me with unexpected force. I wanted to hate them. I wanted to resist, to reclaim the boy I had been. And yet, a part of me, a part one was terrified to admit, thrilled at the praise, at the validation, at the recognition that someone saw me like this. As we sipped coffee, I noticed a group of boys from my school at a nearby table. Their laughter echoed too loudly, too clearly, cutting through my composure. My chest tightened, my hands shook, and I wanted to hide under the table. But she leaned over, her lips brushing my ear, whispering, "Smile. Confidence, even if it's fake. You're already halfway there." I forced a smile, trembling. The reflection of myself in the cafe window made me feel like a stranger. The boy I had been, the quiet, unnoticed one, was gone. The girl I was becoming was here, exposed to the world, and I had no idea how to reclaim myself. And then came the moment that would haunt me. One of the boys from my school approached our table, curiosity and recognition in his eyes. "Wait, is that you?" he asked, voice incredulous. My stomach dropped. The safe bubble I thought I had inside the mall shattered instantly. I wanted to disappear, to melt into the floor. But she placed a hand on my shoulder, steady and commanding. "Yes," she said softly, but with ownership. "And yes, that's her now. You'll get used to it." The boy's eyes widened in disbelief, and I felt a dangerous thrill mixed with shame. He didn't know who I had been. No one did. And maybe that terrified me the most. She leaned close, whispering into my ear as we left the cafe. "Tomorrow, we push further. The world isn't ready, but you are. Or will be." The sunlight was harsh, almost accusatory. as we stepped into the bustling city square. I felt every gaze like a needle piercing my skin. The heels clicked sharply against the concrete, each step louder than the last. I wanted to vanish. I wanted to run back to the safety of my room, back to the boy I had been, safe, unnoticed, invisible. She didn't let me. "Walk like you own this place," she commanded, her hand resting lightly on my lower back. "Don't hide. You're not invisible anymore. Not today." I tried to obey, forcing my shoulders back, lifting my chin, yet every step felt like a performance I wasn't ready to give. My cheeks burned, my stomach knotted, and I realized I had never been so self-conscious in my life. Each passerby who glanced at me felt like a spotlight, magnifying every flaw, every tremble. "Relax," she whispered, leaning close, her lips brushing my ear. "You're beautiful, and everyone will see it eventually." The words were meant to comfort, but they also mocked me. How could I feel beautiful when every fiber of me screamed embarrassment? I caught a glimpse of my reflection in a shop window, my hair perfectly styled, my dress flowing delicately, my makeup flawless. And yet, I didn't recognize myself. The boy I had been was gone. In his place was someone delicate, feminine, exposed to a world that didn't understand her existence. We walked into a small boutique, and she guided me through the aisles, picking out accessories and jewelry, all while keeping a watchful eye on my reactions. "Try to enjoy this," she said softly. "Every detail matters. Every piece makes you her." I shook my head slightly, overwhelmed. I can't," I whispered, my voice almost breaking. "Yes, you can," she replied firmly. "And you will. You have no choice now." The first public compliment came unexpectedly. A woman passing by smiled at me and said, "What a lovely dress. And your makeup exquisite." My stomach tightened, my face flushed. For a moment I wanted to run, and yet a small, terrifying part of me felt proud. She noticed. Her eyes sparkled with a mixture of triumph and cruelty. "See? The world notices. You're meant for this. You can't go back now." We continued through the mall, each store a gauntlet. Shoppers whispered, stared, and occasionally laughed. Every sound felt magnified, every glance a judgment. My knees trembled, my hands shook, but she never let me falter. "Hold your head high," she instructed. "Smile, even if it kills you inside." Then came the worst moment. I accidentally knocked over a small display of nail polish bottles. They clattered to the floor, and heads turned. My heart leapt into my throat. I bent to pick them up, heels wobbling, my face burning hotter than ever. People stared, some whispered, and I felt naked, completely exposed. She was calm, almost amused. She reached down, steadying my hands. "Mistakes happen. Smile. Keep going. You're doing beautifully." Her touch was grounding, yet it reminded me how powerless I was. Every movement, every reaction, every step depended on her. And part of me liked it. We sat down in a quiet corner to catch our breath. I felt tears threatening to spill. The humiliation, the exposure, the intense pressure, it was almost too much. But then she took my hand, held it gently, and said, "You're strong. You can handle this. And tomorrow it gets even more exciting." Exciting? The word made my chest tighten. I wanted to scream, to beg her to stop, to go back to who I was. And yet, deep inside, a forbidden thrill coursed through me. I didn't want to admit it, but I craved her approval, her control, and the strange, intoxicating power of being beautiful, fragile, and noticed. As we left the mall, a familiar voice called out behind us, "Wait, is that really you?" I froze. My secret, my new self, someone from my past had seen me, and I had no idea how to face them. The cafe smelled of roasted coffee and warm pastries, but I barely noticed. My thoughts were a storm of confusion, embarrassment, and an odd thrill I didn't want to admit. The heels clicked softly on the wooden floor as we navigated toward an empty table, and I felt every eye in the room as if it were a spotlight aimed directly at me. She guided me gently, her hand firm on my back, until we settled in a quiet corner. I tried to calm my racing heart, to remind myself that I was still me, the boy I had been, but the reflection in the window told a different story. Delicate features, perfectly styled hair, subtle but striking makeup. The girl in the mirror was captivating, fragile, and undeniably alive in a way I didn't expect. "Relax," she murmured, brushing a strand of hair from my face. "You're doing beautifully." I wanted to argue. I wanted to deny it. But a soft part of me, hidden deep, fearful yet excited, throbbed with approval. Then he appeared. A boy around my age, tall and effortlessly confident, walked into the cafe. He ordered quickly and turned, scanning the room, until his gaze landed on me. My stomach flipped. I froze. He smiled, warm, friendly, and genuine. "Hey, do I know you?" he asked, approaching cautiously. I shook my head, murmuring a shy, almost inaudible, "No." She didn't intervene this time, letting me face him. Her eyes sparkled with something I couldn't quite name. Triumph? Amusement? Both. "I'm Alex," he said, sliding into the seat across from me. "You look familiar but different. New hair? Makeup? You look amazing, actually." The compliment made my cheeks burn hotter than the sun. I wanted to hide, yet I couldn't deny the fluttering excitement in my chest. His gaze was kind, appreciative, and not mocking. For the first time today, someone saw me as this person and didn't recoil. "Thanks," I whispered, my voice higher than usual. My fingers fiddled nervously with the edge of my skirt. "You don't talk much," he observed, leaning back casually. "I like that. Mysterious." I wanted to run, to escape from the attention, from the scrutiny, from him. And yet, I wanted to stay. A confusing mix of shame, excitement, and longing coiled inside me. She leaned closer from the side, her presence a shadow over my shoulder. "Be yourself," she whispered softly. "Not the boy you were. This version, she's perfect." The words stung in my chest. Perfect. I didn't feel perfect. I felt exposed, vulnerable, and terrified. And yet, somewhere deep, a tiny part of me wanted to believe her. We talked for what felt like hours or maybe minutes. The world around me blurred. Alex was easy to talk to, his presence comforting. He didn't know my secret. He didn't know the transformation that had consumed me. And for a fleeting moment I felt normal, or at least like myself again, even in this new body. But the relief was short-lived. Every glance in the mirror reflected her influence. The careful makeup, the poised posture, the delicate movements I was still learning. Every sip of coffee reminded me that I was someone else now, someone fragile and observed. When the check arrived, she subtly guided my hand to reach for it, teaching me manners, posture, and confidence simultaneously. I fumbled, cheeks burning, but she corrected me gently, showing me how to move, how to speak, how to exist in this new world she was crafting. "You're learning fast," she whispered as we left the cafe. "Soon, the world won't matter. Only you and what I've taught you." My chest tightened. What she had taught me was both thrilling and terrifying. Every lesson, every correction, every forced smile was another brick in the cage and the palace of my new identity. As we stepped into the sunlight, Alex waved goodbye, his smile lingering in my mind. My heart ached with longing and confusion. Could I ever reconcile the boy I had been with this new person he now saw? Could I ever go back to the life I had before, or had that boy truly vanished? She turned toward me with a sly, knowing smile. "Tomorrow, Alex will see more than just your face. He'll see everything. And then he won't be able to forget you. Neither will anyone." The sun hung low in the sky, casting long shadows across the busy streets. Every passerby seemed to magnify my anxiety, their footsteps like drumbeats marking my vulnerability. My heels clicked loudly against the pavement, each step sending a jolt of embarrassment through my body. The skirt of my dress swayed delicately around my thighs, and I was hyper-aware of every glance, every whisper. She walked beside me, calm, poised, every step deliberate. Her presence was both a shield and a leash, her hand brushing occasionally against mine, a subtle reminder that she controlled this new world I was entering. "Relax," she said softly, almost teasing. "The city is just like a stage. You are the star. Or the scandal. You decide." I swallowed hard, my throat dry. The thought of being the center of attention terrified me. Every glance from strangers felt like a spotlight, every murmur a judgment. Yet, deep inside, a flutter of forbidden excitement stirred. We entered a small boutique known for its high-end, fashionable clientele. Inside, the polished floors and bright lights made me feel painfully exposed. I could hear the faint hum of conversations, the clicking of shoes, the rustle of garments being tried on. "Stand here," she instructed, positioning me in front of a mirror that reflected the entire store. "I want you to see yourself as the world sees you." I froze, staring at my reflection. My makeup was flawless, my dress flowing perfectly, my hair styled just right. And yet, the girl in the mirror wasn't just someone I had become. She was someone everyone else could scrutinize, comment on, remember. My chest tightened, my stomach twisted. "Walk," she commanded. My legs felt heavy, unsteady. Each step in the heels was deliberate, practiced, but my confidence faltered. I could hear soft whispers behind me, some admiring, some judgmental. My face burned. She stepped closer, her hand on my lower back. "Own it," she whispered. "Even if your heart is racing. Even if your knees shake. This is you now." I obeyed, though every step felt like a battle between fear and the tiny, dangerous thrill of attention. I caught glimpses of reactions from other shoppers, eyes lingering, smiles exchanged, hushed comments. Every look made me acutely aware of my femininity, my vulnerability, my complete exposure. Then came the incident that would haunt me. A high-heeled misstep on a glossy tile sent me stumbling slightly, and a delicate display of perfume bottles tumbled to the floor. The clatter echoed through the boutique. Heads turned, eyes widened. I felt the heat of humiliation rise to my ears, my hands shaking as I bent to pick them up. She was there instantly, steadying me, her touch gentle but firm. "Mistakes happen," she said softly. "Smile. Keep going. You're doing beautifully." Her reassurance was both comforting and torturous. I was humiliated, exposed, yet part of me craved her approval, her guidance, her control. Every step I took under her watchful eye felt like a surrender, and yet, a surrender I secretly desired. After we left the boutique, the city seemed even larger, louder, more intimidating. Every passerby was a potential witness, every glance a judgment. I felt raw, exposed, and terrified. And yet, beneath that fear, there was a strange, addictive thrill. "You're learning fast," she said, brushing a strand of hair from my face. "Soon, the world won't matter. Only you, and what I've made you become." I swallowed hard, my pulse racing. She had not only transformed my appearance but also my very sense of self. The boy I had been, the one who had entered her room weeks ago, was vanishing, replaced by someone delicate, beautiful, and entirely dependent on her guidance. And just as we thought we were safe, a familiar voice cut through the city noise. "Wait, isn't that?" I froze. My heart sank. Someone from my past had spotted me, recognized me, and I had no idea how to face them. She leaned close, her lips brushing my ear, and whispered, "Don't worry. You're mine now. No one can take this from me or from you." The moment froze in time. The familiar voice cut through the bustling streets like a knife. My heart lurched, my breath caught in my throat. I slowly turned my head, and there he was, a boy from my school, someone I had shared classes, jokes, and countless ordinary moments with. His eyes widened in shock, disbelief written across his face. "It can't be," he muttered, stepping closer. "Is that you?" I froze. My knees trembled, heels digging into the pavement. Every fiber of me wanted to disappear, to melt into the ground, to reclaim the boy I had been. But the reflection in the store window, the careful curves, the delicate makeup, the dress flowing perfectly around my frame, It wasn't me anymore. At least, not the me he remembered. She stepped closer, her presence a shield and a leash. Her hand brushed lightly over mine, anchoring me. Yes, she said smoothly, her voice calm and commanding. It's her now.
You'll see.
It's perfect. Isn't it? The boy's mouth opened, then closed, and he blinked rapidly, as if trying to reconcile what he saw. I don't understand, he stammered. It's beautiful, she interjected, her tone soft, almost teasing. Yes, she's beautiful. Don't you think? I felt my cheeks burn hotter than ever. Humiliation coursed through me like a live wire. He had known me as the boy who hid in the back of the classroom, quiet and invisible. And now this. The delicate, feminine version of me, exposed for the world to see, guided by her dominance, sculpted to perfection. Wow, he muttered, his voice uncertain. You look amazing. The praise should have comforted me, but instead it twisted inside, a mix of shame and forbidden excitement. My body reacted despite my mind's protests, a trembling, involuntary thrill that made my chest ache. She leaned closer, her lips brushing my ear.
See?
They notice. And soon everyone will. You're mine now. No going back. The words settled like chains around my chest. I wanted to protest, to flee, to reclaim my old self. And yet, the excitement, the thrill of attention, the strange, dangerous pride in my appearance coursed through me, undeniable. He took a cautious step closer. So, all of this is real? You're really? His voice trailed off, unsure how to phrase what he saw. Yes, she said firmly, her hand tightening slightly on my shoulder. All of this is real. And she's learning to embrace it. I wanted to shrink, to disappear, but I couldn't. The heels kept me upright. The dress clung to my body. My makeup highlighted a beauty I had never known I possessed. And even as my mind screamed in protest, part of me, frightening, thrilling, forbidden, wanted to be seen, admired, remembered. You look incredible, he whispered again, a note of awe in his voice. I didn't think. She smiled, victorious, almost cruel. Don't think. Just look. Remember this. This is who she is now. And it's beautiful, isn't it? I swallowed hard. Humiliation, fear, and an almost overwhelming sense of desire collided inside me. The boy I had been, the timid, invisible version, was gone. In his place was someone delicate, beautiful, and exposed, entirely under her control. As the crowd around us continued, oblivious, I realized that nothing would ever be the same. Recognition had shattered my fragile privacy, my carefully guarded secret. And yet a forbidden thrill pulsed through me. I had been caught, exposed, and judged, and somewhere deep inside, I couldn't deny the pleasure it brought. She leaned closer, her lips near my ear, whispering, "Tomorrow, we go even further. He and everyone else will see everything. And by then, you won't even want to go back." The invitation had seemed innocent enough, a casual gathering at a stylish cafe with a few new friends. But as soon as she handed it to me, her eyes gleamed with mischief and control. "This is your stage," she said softly. "Your debut. The world will see her, and so will you." My stomach twisted. A public outing, full of strangers, scrutiny, and attention. My pulse raced at the thought. The heels I wore yesterday felt taller, more precarious today. The dress clung delicately to my body, silk against skin, soft and feminine, but a constant reminder of how exposed I was. "You'll walk in with confidence," she instructed, adjusting my hair and makeup with a precision that left no room for doubt. "Every step, every gesture, every glance mine. You will be perfect." I wanted to protest. I wanted to run. But her touch on my shoulder, firm yet soothing, kept me rooted. The girl in the mirror was no longer just me. She was a creation, delicate and sculpted, entirely under her guidance. We arrived at the cafe, the outdoor tables bustling with people enjoying the warm afternoon. I felt eyes linger immediately. The soft rustle of skirts, the clinking of cups, and the low hum of conversation magnified every step I took. My heels clicked sharply on the cobblestones. Each movement was deliberate, a test of balance, poise, and courage. She guided me to a table where a group of young men and women were already seated. Their eyes followed me as I approached, some smiling politely, some whispering among themselves. My cheeks burned. Every whisper felt like a judgment, every glance a spotlight on my exposed vulnerability. "Smile," she whispered, brushing my cheek. "Confidence, even if it's fake. That's how they will see you." I forced a smile, my lips trembling slightly. The boy I had been, the timid, shy one, would have crumbled under such attention. But this girl, sculpted by her hands, forced by her guidance, stood upright, chest forward, chin high. The group greeted me warmly. Compliments flowed, on my dress, my hair, my makeup. And with each one, a strange, forbidden thrill pulsed through me. I hated it, and yet, part of me craved it. The attention, the validation, the fact that I could make people notice me as her, it was intoxicating. Then came the playful teasing. One of the boys leaned in, eyes sparkling, joking about my heels. "Careful, don't fall over," he said, smirking. My face flushed bright red. I stumbled slightly on the uneven floor, and laughter erupted from a few around the table. She reached out, steadying me with a gentle, controlling hand. "It's fine," she whispered. "Own it."
Laugh.
This is part of her learning. Every slip, every stumble, it makes her human. And beautiful. I wanted to shrink. I wanted to disappear. But her encouragement, her dominance, her approval, it wrapped around me like a safety net. And somewhere deep inside, a dangerous part of me began to crave it. As the afternoon progressed, I was made to serve coffee, engage in light conversation, and navigate subtle challenges, stepping over chairs, balancing plates, and interacting with the group while maintaining grace. Every task, every smile, every faltering step was a reminder of my dependence on her guidance and control. When a waiter accidentally brushed against me, causing me to spill a small amount of coffee, I froze, ready to crumble. But she was there instantly, correcting my posture, smoothing my hair, and whispering, "It's fine. You're perfect. Every mistake only makes this better." The mingling, attention, and subtle humiliation pushed me further. I felt the boy I had been slipping away, replaced by someone delicate, exposed, and entirely under her influence. And yet, as terrifying as it was, part of me, the forbidden, thrilling part, was beginning to enjoy it. As the sun dipped lower, casting golden light over the cafe, she leaned close and whispered, "Tomorrow, a bigger challenge. Everyone will see her, and she will have no choice but to shine or crumble." The morning was crisp, the streets buzzing with life. Today, she told me, would be a test, not just of my appearance, but of my ability to embody her creation fully. The previous outings had been warm-ups. This was the stage where I would confront the world, and myself, completely exposed. She had chosen a busy shopping district, crowded with tourists, shoppers, and families. My heels felt impossibly tall, my dress tighter than usual, my carefully applied makeup now a mask I couldn't remove. I wanted to protest, to hide, to retreat into anonymity, but her hand on my back anchored me. "Today," she whispered, her lips brushing my ear, "everyone will see her. And she will either shine or crumble. You're ready." I didn't feel ready. My heart hammered in my chest, my stomach twisted with nerves. Every passerby's glance felt magnified, every whisper a dagger. And yet, beneath the terror, a small, unbidden thrill surged, a dangerous, forbidden excitement I couldn't name. We stepped onto the busy sidewalk. The sounds of the city, honking cars, chatter, footsteps, felt deafening. Each click of my heels echoed in my ears like an announcement of my exposure. I felt all eyes on me, judging, observing, dissecting every move, every expression. "Walk confidently," she instructed, adjusting my posture. "Look ahead, smile, breathe. You are her. Own it." I forced myself to follow, though every step was a battle against the panic surging inside. People glanced, whispered, some stared longer than polite, and my cheeks flushed with embarrassment. My reflection in shop windows made me shrink. I barely recognized the girl staring back. She was fragile, beautiful, utterly exposed. And she was mine, her creation, under her control. Then came the first challenge, a public photo opportunity she had orchestrated. A local boutique was promoting a fashion campaign and invited passers-by to try outfits and pose. She guided me inside, positioning me carefully. "Smile," she whispered. "Look natural. This is the world seeing her. And soon everyone else will want to notice too." I felt my knees wobble as the camera clicked repeatedly. The photographer complimented my appearance, my posture, my expression. And with every click, every compliment, the heat of embarrassment and forbidden pride rose in my chest. "Perfect," she murmured, leaning close. "See? They love her. You're becoming her fully." I wanted to deny it, to retreat, to reclaim the boy I had been. But as the crowd gathered outside the boutique, peering in curiously, I realized that the boy I had been, the timid, invisible one, was gone. In his place was someone delicate, beautiful, exposed, and entirely molded by her guidance. She led me out of the boutique, her hand firm on my back, and whispered, "Tomorrow, the final stage. Everyone will see her. And by then, she will have no choice but to accept who she is, or break completely." The day ended with my body aching, my mind spinning, and a confusing mix of humiliation, thrill, and dependence curling in my chest. I was exhausted, terrified, and strangely exhilarated all at once. As we returned home, she looked down at me with a sly, commanding smile. "The next test will change everything. By the end of it, she won't even remember who she used to be." The morning was suffocating. My chest felt tight, my stomach knotted, and every nerve in my body screamed in anticipation. She had planned it, a social event, a fashion showcase of sorts, open to hundreds of people. Today, I would not only be seen but scrutinized, admired, and judged in ways I wasn't prepared for. "You're ready," she whispered as we stepped out. Her hand rested lightly on my lower back, a mixture of dominance and reassurance. "Today, the world sees her. And soon, so will you, fully." The crowd was overwhelming. People chatted, laughed, and walked past, some glancing knowingly, others oblivious. But my attention was a laser focus on every pair of eyes that landed on me. Each look felt like a mirror reflecting my exposed, delicate self back at me. The heels I wore clicked loudly against the marble floor of the event space. Each step felt precarious, like walking on a tightrope stretched over a pit of humiliation. My dress swayed with each movement, my hair and makeup meticulously maintained, and yet I felt unbearably exposed. She guided me to the stage area, whispering instructions about posture, eye contact, and gestures. "Confidence," she murmured. "Even if it's fake. Even if your knees shake.
You are her now.
Accept it." I wanted to resist. I wanted to reclaim the boy I had been, the one who had walked unnoticed, safe in his own shadow. But that boy was gone, vanished with every step I had taken into this public world she controlled. The spotlight hit me first, blinding and hot. Cameras flashed, recording my every movement. The whispers of the audience became a roar in my ears, the stares magnified into scrutiny, so intense I could feel it in my bones. I felt my face flush, my lips tremble, and a low shiver run down my spine. "You're beautiful," she whispered, her breath brushing my ear. "Do not fight it. Let them see her. Let yourself see her." I tried to comply, walking, smiling, posing as she instructed. Every motion was precise, guided, rehearsed under her control. Yet, despite the humiliation, the exposure, and the fear, a strange thrill coursed through me. The applause, the admiration, even the judgment, it was addictive. I hated myself for feeling it, but the feeling would not leave. Then someone from my past, a teacher, a classmate, someone who knew the boy I had been, stepped forward. Recognition dawned in their eyes, and for a moment, I felt my world collapse. This is you?" they asked, voice trembling. "Yes," she replied, smoothly, taking ownership. This is her now. She's learning and she's perfect. The confrontation shattered the fragile shell of composure I had maintained. My knees buckled slightly, my hands trembled, and tears threatened to fall. Yet, she was there, steadying me, whispering, guiding, commanding. "You are hers now," she said firmly. "And you will see, by the end of today, there is no going back."
Not to him.
Only her. I wanted to scream, to flee, to reclaim my lost identity. And yet, as the crowd applauded, as the flashes continued, as the whispered compliments poured in, I realized the terrifying truth. The boy I had been, the timid, invisible one, was gone, replaced by someone delicate, beautiful, exposed, and entirely under her influence. The breaking point came when she leaned close, her lips brushing my ear, and whispered, "Embrace it.
Let go."
She is all you are now." Tears slid down my cheeks, hot and bitter, but my lips curved in a trembling smile. I hated myself for wanting it, and yet I could not deny it. The crowd erupted into applause as she stepped back, letting me face them alone for the first time. I realized then, fully, painfully, that the transformation was no longer just physical. It had become my reality, and tomorrow would test me even further. The morning sunlight streamed through the curtains, painting the room in soft gold. I sat on the edge of the bed, carefully adjusting the delicate fabric of my dress. My reflection in the mirror caught my eye, and for a long moment, I didn't recognize myself. She stood behind me, hands resting lightly on my shoulders. "Beautiful," she murmured, her voice almost reverent. "You're perfect. And everyone will see it today." I wanted to resist. I wanted to turn away, rip the dress off, reclaim the boy I had been. Yet, the reflection staring back at me told a different story. Delicate features, styled hair, flawless makeup, every detail screamed her influence, her control, her vision of me. Stepping into the street, the world greeted me like a stage. I felt eyes linger, whispers brush past, and a subtle admiration in glances that once would have been terrifying. But today, something had shifted. I wasn't just enduring it anymore. A part of me, the part she had coaxed, molded, controlled, wanted to be seen, admired, noticed. And the forbidden thrill of it coursed through my veins, dangerous and exhilarating. At the cafe, Alex was waiting. His eyes widened, taking me in fully. You're amazing," he said softly, almost in awe. I felt a shiver run down my spine, a mixture of pride and shame. The boy he remembered was gone. In her place stood someone delicate, beautiful, and undeniably feminine. "You're not just pretty," he continued, smiling gently. "You're radiant." Her presence lingered behind me, a silent guide, a constant reminder of control. "See," she whispered. "They notice her now. And so will everyone else. You are hers. Fully." The day continued with a series of small challenges, walking through crowded streets, interacting with strangers, even performing subtle acts of service at a local boutique she had arranged. Each task reinforced the shift within me. I stumbled occasionally, my cheeks flushed, yet each time she corrected me gently, commanding yet soothing. By evening, I felt the weight of the day. Exhausted, flushed, but undeniably alive in a way I had never been as the boy I once was. I realized that the reflection in the mirror had become me, not just physically but mentally, emotionally. Yet, even as I accepted it, fragments of my past lingered. Memories of the timid, invisible boy would flicker unexpectedly, when I laughed, when I tripped, when I caught sight of someone from my past. They reminded me that I hadn't entirely forgotten who I had been. She noticed. Her fingers brushed my cheek lightly. "It's okay," she whispered. "Those fragments, they make her human. But remember, she is hers now. You will see. The world will remember her too." The realization hit me like a wave. I could resist, fight, and mourn the boy I had been. Or I could embrace this new identity fully, fragile and beautiful, shaped by her hands, controlled by her guidance, desired by the world. As night fell, I stared into the mirror one last time. Tears threatened, But they weren't entirely sad. They were a mixture of grief, fear, excitement, and forbidden pleasure. The girl in the mirror, me, looked back with wide eyes, flushed cheeks, and trembling lips. And I knew tomorrow would cement everything. There would be no turning back. She leaned close, her eyes gleaming with triumph and something darker. Tomorrow, everyone will see her completely. And then she'll truly be mine. The morning was electric. The city seemed alive, buzzing with anticipation, as if it knew today would be different. Today, she had arranged a social gala, a curated event where I would be the centerpiece, visible to dozens of people, many of whom knew me only as the boy I had been. I felt my chest tighten as we arrived. The venue gleamed with polished floors, glittering lights, and elegant decorations. My heels clicked sharply on the marble, each step a reminder of the precarious position I had been placed in. She guided me to the center of the room, her fingers brushing lightly across my back. "This is it," she whispered. "Everyone will see her now. There's no hiding. No boy. Only her." The crowd turned as we entered. Gasps, whispers, and stares followed me. I could feel every eye as if they penetrated my very being. The boy I had been, shy and invisible, could no longer exist in this space. Every step, every glance, every fluttering heartbeat reinforced the girl I had become. Alex was there, seated near the front. His eyes widened, then softened with a mixture of surprise and admiration. The recognition, the acknowledgement that I was someone completely transformed, sent a rush of shame and forbidden pleasure coursing through me. "Beautiful," someone whispered behind me. Another compliment, another gaze, and my cheeks burned hotter. I felt fragile, delicate, and exposed, but in a way that made my heart race with a strange, addictive thrill. She instructed me to walk the room slowly, pausing at intervals, acknowledging whispers and compliments, maintaining grace and composure. Every stumble was corrected with a gentle touch, every faltering smile guided to perfection. "See," she murmured, lips brushing my ear. "They notice her. They remember her. And soon so will you." Time blurred as I moved through the crowd. The attention, the exposure, the controlled humiliation, it was overwhelming, yet intoxicating. I realized I was no longer the boy who had stolen a moment of makeup out of curiosity. I was her, delicate, beautiful, exposed, and entirely under her control. Then came the final test. A toast was announced, and I was asked to speak, to smile, to embody poise and confidence fully. My hands trembled, my voice wavered, but her hand on mine grounded me. "You are hers now," she whispered. "Own it." I spoke, faltering at first, then gradually finding rhythm. Each word, each smile, each glance toward the audience reinforced the reality. I was no longer hiding. The boy I had been was gone, replaced by someone molded, controlled, and celebrated in a way I could never have imagined. Tears pricked my eyes, tears of shame, exhilaration, loss, and forbidden excitement. And in that moment, I realized the terrifying truth. I didn't want to go back. Part of me, the part she had shaped, craved the attention, the validation, the power hidden within vulnerability. She stepped back, letting me face the crowd alone, and whispered, "Tomorrow you will see fully. There is no boy left. Only her. And she will never be the same again." The room was quiet, the soft glow of the lamp casting gentle shadows across the walls. I stood alone in front of the full-length mirror, my hands trembling slightly as I traced the contours of my face. The girl staring back at me was not just a reflection, it was a complete transformation, one I could no longer deny. Her makeup was flawless, highlighting delicate cheekbones, soft lips, and wide, expressive eyes. The dress clung perfectly to a body that felt both alien and intoxicatingly familiar. Every detail, from the subtle scent of perfume to the elegant sway of my skirt, reminded me that the boy I had been no longer existed. I touched my cheeks, my lips, my hair. The sensations were real. The reflection moved when I moved, smiled when I smiled. And yet, there was a depth in those eyes that felt distinctly hers, controlled, aware, and aware of her power. I stood taller than I ever had as the boy I once was. Every posture, every gesture had been taught, molded, enforced. And now, without her immediate guidance, I realized just how deep the control had taken hold. Memories flickered. The first stolen makeup, the initial hesitation, the private humiliations, the public exposures, the teasing, the whispered reassurances, the overwhelming attention. Each moment had sculpted me, shaped me, broken me, and rebuilt me into someone completely new. I felt a strange mixture of shame, grief, exhilaration, and desire. I mourned the boy I had been, but even as I did, I felt a creeping, undeniable thrill in the delicate frame I now occupied. I was fragile, yes, but visible. Vulnerable, yes, but desired. Controlled, yes, but alive in ways I had never imagined. A soft knock at the door broke my reverie. She entered, her eyes gleaming with quiet triumph. "You've seen her," she said simply. "And now, she sees herself. Do you understand?" I nodded, voice barely above a whisper. I see her. I see me. And I don't think I can go back." Her smile was both gentle and commanding. "Good. That's what I wanted you to realize. She isn't just a reflection. She is real. And the world will see her, just as you see her now." Tears threatened again, but this time, they were not purely of shame. They were acknowledgement of loss, of fear, of transformation, and of an intoxicating new reality I could not ignore. She stepped closer, brushing a strand of hair from my face. "You are beautiful," she whispered. "Do not forget that.
You are hers now. Fully.
And soon, the world will recognize it too." I turned back to the mirror, studying every delicate feature, every curve, every detail of the girl I had become. The boy who had stolen her makeup, who had hesitated and resisted, was gone. In his place was someone fragile, beautiful, fully molded, and entirely under her influence. And in that quiet moment, I understood. There was no going back. Not fully. Not ever. She stepped back, letting me stare into the mirror alone, and whispered, "Tomorrow, everyone will see her completely. And she will finally know who she truly is." The morning air was crisp, carrying with it the excitement and tension of the day ahead. Today was not just another public outing. It was the culmination of everything she had orchestrated. Every step, every look, every whispered word of guidance had led to this moment, my full presentation to the world as her creation. I stood in front of the mirror one last time, taking in every delicate detail. My hair shimmered under the soft light, my makeup highlighted features I had never imagined possessing, and my dress hugged my curves perfectly. The girl staring back was no longer tentative or hesitant. She exuded a fragile, breathtaking confidence that had been carefully molded over weeks of exposure, humiliation, and guidance. She stepped closer, her hand resting lightly on my shoulder. "Today," she said, voice calm but commanding, "you are hers fully. Everyone will see her, and you will know that this is who you truly are." We arrived at the social event, a gathering of familiar faces and strangers alike. The moment I stepped into the room, eyes turned, whispers began, and I felt the familiar rush of exposure, judgment, and admiration. Every glance, every murmur, was a reminder of the transformation I had undergone and the power she had over me. "Walk," she whispered, her hand brushing my back. "Smile. Stand tall. She is beautiful. And now everyone will see it." I moved through the crowd, my heels clicking confidently against the polished floor. Compliments flowed, eyes lingered, and I felt a strange, intoxicating thrill as my presence captivated the room. The boy I had been, the timid, invisible observer, was gone. In his place stood someone delicate, beautiful, fully molded, and undeniably her creation. Alex appeared again, this time approaching me with awe in his eyes. You're incredible," he said softly, almost reverently. I felt a shiver run through me. The recognition, the validation, the sheer thrill of being seen, fully, unreservedly, was overwhelming. And for the first time, I felt not fear, not shame, but pride. Pride in her creation. Pride in myself. Pride in the girl I had become. She guided me to a small stage, the final act of this social trial. The crowd applauded as I moved into position, the lights highlighting every detail of my transformation. I could feel every eye, every judgment, every admiration. And yet, I stood tall, poised, fragile yet commanding attention. "You are hers," she whispered, lips brushing my ear. "And now, you will see just how beautiful she truly is." As the crowd erupted into applause, I realized the profound truth. The boy who had stolen her makeup, who had hesitated and resisted, was gone. In his place was someone delicate, beautiful, exposed, and entirely under her influence. Tears slid down my cheeks, but they were not tears of shame. They were tears of acceptance, exhilaration, and the intoxicating thrill of a new identity fully embraced. I had been molded, guided, and broken, but in the process, I had become someone entirely new. And in that moment, I knew I would never go back. Not fully. Not ever. Cliffhanger/closure. She stepped back, her eyes gleaming with triumph and something darker. Everyone has seen her now, and soon the world will know that she is hers. Forever. Weeks had passed since the ultimate social event. Each day, the world had become a stage on which I performed, and yet, slowly, the performance had merged with reality. The girl in the mirror no longer felt like a mask.
She was me.
Every glance, every gesture, every delicate movement flowed naturally now, as though I had always been her. She had guided me through countless moments, shopping trips, casual gatherings, public outings, private lessons in poise and charm, and with each passing day, my past self as the timid, invisible boy faded further. Sometimes, fleeting memories would appear. The rush of guilt when I first stole her makeup, the initial fear and resistance, the quiet longing to return to my old life. But they were distant echoes, soft whispers against the roar of my new reality. I walked through the city streets, heels clicking confidently, dress flowing elegantly with every step. People glanced, admired, whispered, but the fear that once gripped me had vanished. Now, I enjoyed their attention. It thrilled me, frightened me, and excited me all at once. Alex smiled at me from across the cafe, admiration clear in his eyes. You're radiant," he said softly. I smiled back, feeling the warmth of affirmation flow through me. I had learned to accept it, to embrace it, to revel in the beauty she had cultivated within me. At home, she watched me silently, her eyes gleaming with satisfaction and quiet dominance. "Do you understand now?" she asked gently, yet with an edge of command.
She isn't a mask. She isn't temporary.
She is yours, and the world's to see. I nodded, a shiver of acknowledgement running down my spine. I understand," I whispered. "I am hers." She stepped closer, brushing a hand across my cheek.
Good.
"Never forget it. You are fragile, beautiful,
Exposed.
and entirely hers. Forever." For the first time, I felt a profound peace and a thrilling sense of exhilaration. The shame, the humiliation, the fear, they were gone, replaced by acceptance, desire, and an intoxicating sense of identity fully embraced. I was no longer the boy who had hesitated, stolen, or resisted. I was her creation, her masterpiece, and the world would see me exactly as she intended. Looking into the mirror one last time, I saw her, me, perfect, delicate, beautiful, and complete. And I realized that while the journey had been terrifying, humiliating, and at times unbearable, it had forged me into someone entirely new. The boy I had been was gone, and the girl I had become was here to stay, fragile, exposed, dominant in her vulnerability, and undeniably hers. As the sun set, casting a warm glow across the room, I allowed myself a small, confident smile. For the first time in my life, I felt fully seen, fully beautiful, fully alive. And somewhere deep inside, a dangerous thrill whispered, this was only the beginning.